You are now tuned into New Music Tuesdays here on Feel Good Sound.
What is going on? We want to welcome you to Dash Radio. My name is DJ Hapa, the group Feeling Good. Got my man Dirty D over there on the boards. And none other than Jallal here in studio. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Now you're on the radar.
Yeah.
My man's got a project called Off the Radar that is coming out soon. It is coming to a, not necessarily a store, but a place where you can hear it and consume it sometime soon.
Right. Exactly.
You've been doing a lot, man. You've been doing a lot on SoundCloud. You've been doing a lot over the last, you said over the last 7 years.
Right.
I want to talk to you about all of that. I also want to talk about this track, I'm a Dog, which is done crazy, man. 2 million SoundCloud plays in like 2 weeks or something like that. Crazy, man. And we're going to talk about all of that. We're also going to play I'm a Dog tonight. And man, let's just jump right in. 7 years working on this music.
Yep.
Kind of bring us back to 7 years ago. How did this all get going for you?
Man, it started when I was like, just getting into ninth grade, and had a friend, you know what I'm saying, who was DJing and like doing all his things back in the day. His name's Sean G. And like he put me on.
I know Sean. Sean's a good homie of mine.
Yeah, he's dope. And he put me on to like the whole, just like the music, you know what I'm saying? Like hip hop music, because I always thought it was like super like vulgar and like bad and like, just negative. Like it was always talking about, popping bottles, drug, over glamorization of like things that I wasn't really about, you know what I'm saying?
And what were you listening to at the time?
Man, I was listening to more of like just alternative music, you know what I'm saying? Like people would be playing like, Maroon 5, sometimes like rock music. I was all into that, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Even down to like Megadeth, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, that's the type of music I kind of grew up on, you know what I mean?
All right. So Sean introduces you to hip hop music,
right?
And was it an instant like, oh wow, okay, this isn't what I thought it was. This is interesting.
Yeah, basically, like when I first like was introduced to Pac, like that was like my first like real hardcore gangster rap, like in the time when he was releasing that, I was just like, yo, this music is makes me want to like slam dunk, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I felt like in high school, you know what I'm saying? Playing balls, like this is what it makes me want to do. You just play this and like let me play ball. Like,
and can you slam dunk?
No, I can't. You know what I'm saying? But
I was just curious.
Yeah. No,
Dirty D says he can, and we've done this test before, and he has yet to prove that he can. Yeah. Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Back in when I was playing high school ball, I could, but now I can maybe get fingertips on it now. So.
You still got it.
But, I'm not
fingertips on the bottom of the net, man. Fingertips on the bottom of the net. That's what it's really about. But anyways, all right. So Pac, you get introduced to Pac, and what were some of the other like influences of yours at the time?
I was listening to a band out in Denmark called Outlandish, and they made just like kind of merge of like hip hop music and like soul. So it's like I've always had jazz uprooted, like what I mean, from like Benny Goodman to like Coltrane to everything playing in the household. My mother would always play it, so it's like that was our always been there. You know what I mean? Like since like a youngin, like like 8 years old, like sitting down and like being exposed to that. Aretha Franklin. You know what I'm saying? And then even going on to like later music, like Whitney Houston, what have you. So it's like my mom's was always playing that. But my influences were just kind of like a blend of that, because it's like you listen to like the super hardcore like Pac, and then you listen to like something that's like alternative and like just like chill. And then I was like, okay, cool. Outlandish is like the median. You know what I'm saying? Like this group in Denmark, that's gonna do it for me. You know what I mean? In high school.
Man, how did you find Outlandish? Where did that even come from? Because like, did you just find them online or something?
I was, back in the day, like y'all know about LimeWire, right?
Yeah.
So I was downloading rap music off LimeWire. Sean was like, yo, you could download all this music, and I got like a virus on my computer, right? And I was like, but I guess, they just had like in the playlist or whatever I was downloading, I was like, yo, this song is super dope. Who are these people? So then I would have to like type in the lyrics, and back in the day, like Google, it would just like pull up the lyrics, and you'd be like, this is the band. And then I was like trying to find out how to buy their album, but like iTunes wasn't even popping like that, and back then. So it's like you couldn't buy like the European singles or whatever. So I would be like, damn, like I gotta buy this album, but like this album's like $40, bro. You know what I'm saying? With like shipping and all that, like coming from
like
Europe,
actual CD or whatever,
CD and So I was like, but then somebody put it up on LimeWire, and then I downloaded it. I was like, yeah, I got the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Shout out to Outlandish out there.
Yeah, in Denmark, they super killing it, man. Like,
are they still around?
They still. Every time I meet somebody from like Copenhagen, like from Denmark, I'm like, Outlandish, like, yeah, of course. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow,
like, everybody be like, yeah, they're like the Bone Thugs. You know what I'm saying? Over there or something. It's like, who they are. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Nice. All right, so you get introduced to this music. You're a fan of the music.
Right.
Where do you start picking up a mic, and where do you start really participating in the music and creating? At what point in time did you do that, and what was the first point of entry in there?
So like in 10th grade, like when Sean, he had like he had like a notebook and like it was like full of rhymes and things of that nature. So it was like, and I would like be like, but it was like super vulgar. And he's like, yo, I'm writing all these rhymes. You know what it is? And I was like, I took that notebook and he went out to a camp, you know what I'm saying? So like a Buddhist camp for a while. And with that notebook, I started writing, you know what I'm saying? Like I fell in love with like writing music. And it was very like the antithesis to like what he was writing. So it's like every bleep bleep like curse word you would see, I'll be like, nah, I'm gonna fill this in with like something positive. So it's almost like an exercise for me. Like I'll be like, yo, like, oh, this rhymes and this rhymes and this rhymes. And then I kind of got into like spoken word. And then from there, it just kind of started like delving like outside of spoken word. So it's like 10th, 11th grade, like, you know, I put together a mixtape, you know what I'm saying? Like at 17, like I was slanging mixtapes. You know what I'm saying? Like and 16, I was already like in the studio, like just went in there and started rapping, you know what I'm saying? Like some dude was like, he had a mic and he was like, yo, come through to my place and start recording. And then it just kind of picked up from there and it just started happening.
So how do we go from there to then, I mean, I've seen some of the names on this list of people that you've performed with. I mean, Mos Def is on that list. You got some big heavy hitting like names on that list. How did that all transpire? Like, how did you go from, you know, literally going to somebody's little studio spot and laying down a couple of rhymes to then like, you know, hitting the stage with some of these legendary acts?
Right. Like the first person to like really do that for me was when I was 16 years old. And I did 2 songs, right? Like I did 2 singles that were like, I was preparing it for the mixtape that I started slanging at 17. And his name is Lupe Fiasco. So like he put me like to, that happened. My dude, Jay, was like doing like this show, right? Like this whole like open mic for like kids, you know what I'm saying? Like in underdeveloped cities and what have you know what I'm saying? And being where I'm from, like in LA, it was like the best thing to get out. I was like, yo, I could write this, you know, spoken word and just do it and perform it. So out of all the kids, when I was performing, like, you know, in front of the kids, right? Like the whole crowd was like going crazy. Like everybody was like started screaming. I was like, y'all didn't even drop like a hot line or anything. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, to my like surprise, Lupe's behind me like cheering. You know what I'm saying? I still remember this like as a kid, like he's cheering me on. Because I was like, yo, is he coming on? Like, what's going on? Right? You know what I mean? I'm like tripping out.
And what was he doing there? Was it this?
It was a surprise.
Like a judge?
He was a judge, but it was just like, it's a surprise to me. Like nobody knew Lupe Fiasco was gonna be like a surprise, you know what I'm saying, guest. But like he came up there and he was like, yo, man, like I mess with your music. Like, and he stopped and he took the mic from me and like talked about like my bars, you know what I'm saying, for like 10 minutes straight. So it's like when I seen that, you know, that like gave me the direct motivation. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, here's my info, like take down my information. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I'm freaking high school, man. Like you gave me your like info. Like, what am I gonna do? Like you put your number in my cell or whatever it is. Like, well, like you think I'm really gonna pick up the phone and be like, hey, what's up, man? What's up?
So what did you do?
I mean, this is what happened. So like, you know, that story came along, the pictures came along and all that. So it's like I was over the updates like on the high school. People were like, oh, yo, this kid really rapping and he's out there. So it's like, who's gonna be like the most successful, you know what I'm saying, in their life? They were passing around the ballots in high school and stuff. And I was like, and, you know, my name was always on the list. Like, yo, Jallal is going to be, you know, he's going to be this rapper. And he's going to be super huge and what have you. And you know what I mean? So it's like, and some dudes, there was like, I think Power 106, they were throwing something at the Dub Show in Los Angeles, right? So, and this is back in the day, shout out to Platinum Motorsports and all those niggas. Like, you know, those are my dudes, like Platinum Motorsports. They were showing off all the whips and what have you. And guess some of my colleagues, like high school peers, they were like, hey, we're going to this thing. We want these free tickets. We want you to come, right? So I was like, you know what, cool. Like, I'll come. I'm not doing anything, right? You just give me the ride and I'm coming with you guys. So I came in there, walk up in there, you know, LA Convention Center is super lit. Like, everybody's going crazy because, like, you know, people are performing. There's cars, everything. And at this time, I know J. Cole just released his Friday Night Lights at that time. So it's like people were passing that out. It was, you know, just still in the mixtape phase of like, and, you know, I'm passing the Platinum Motorsports, like, booth. And, I see Lupe over there, right? And he's out there chilling. They have all the cameras and everything, like, and people are interviewing him. And he stops and he like looks at me. He's like, oh, bro, like, you know what I mean? And he trips out. And I'm like, yo, like, and he's like, why don't you hit me up? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the first thing. Like, come on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should have hit me up. And I was like, bro, I didn't even know. And he's like, yo, I'm performing here. So he's like, come in. So he takes me in. We go backstage, and then like all those peers are like tripping, like, yo, this kid knows Lupe Fiasco.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
people, they're like tripping. And then, you know, from there, it was just the roller coaster began. You know what I'm saying? For my career. Yeah.
So did you call him after that?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I'm about to say, man. I'm about to say.
Oh, it's done.
Man, I want to hear more of the stories too, because when we come back out of this record, we're going to talk a little bit more about just what that roller coaster has been like. I want to talk a little bit about I'm a Dog before we play it here, though.
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about this record.
Man, what the record is like, it talks about like the miscommunication in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times when you're in that relationship with your significant other, like, you know, assumptions like, you know, come up at times, right? Because, you know, it's the insecurities kind of speaking. So that's what I really touched on the record. I was like, you know, sometimes you could assume somebody's a dog, but they really not. And who's having like the real last laugh? Like, that's why I did the song. So it's like the whole thing was just alluding to, you know, you think I'm a dog, but, you know, I'm not a dog. You know what I'm saying? Or am I? So it's like, it's up to you to kind of like decide. You know what I mean?
Although, let me ask you something. So do you believe that a lot of times is this deflection because the other person feels a certain type of insecurity about that, maybe because they're that way? Meaning, if she feels like you're cheating on her, is some of that rooted in maybe she's not 100% honest?
It could be, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or even past, you know, relationships that she was probably in, and then that kind of stayed with her. So it's like, it gets super psychological, you know what I'm saying? And it messes with people's psyche. But yeah, that could be, you know, something that...
This is getting pretty deep, guys.
Hey, man, this is what it's supposed to do. This is what the art is supposed to inspire, is this type of conversation, man. We're gonna run the record. Jallal, I'm a Dog, right here on Dash Radio. Here we go.
You are now tuned into New Music Tuesdays here on Feel Good Sound.
Everyone's wanting to know what went wrong, what happened.
You say I'm a dog like you mean that shit. Tell your mama sorry, had to leave that shit. I'm just uninvolved with the drama. Tip you on, had me fighting with a lie, so I lean back quick. I just wanna love in my home, you just wanna lust in the night. I just wanted peace in my soul, you just wanted reason to fight. Always tryna front like I hit that, I ain't even know what you pissed at. Never really click, I admit that. Always been a mismatch, so I switch view. Throw my name in the dirt, as if I ain't even tried, just to make it fucking work. Say you, swear I told the whole truth. Oh, I swear I told the truth, just to make it fucking work. So I'm coughing up the fakeness, I'm just going off and on the road. I'ma keep the faith about me always, plus I got a big goal. Better believe I'm doing my thing, I'm chasing the throne, I'm taking the reins. You playing these games, changing your lane. I wish you the best, we played it again. Go. You say I'm a dog like you mean that shit. Tell your mama sorry, had to leave that shit. I'm just uninvolved with the drama. Tip you on, had me fighting with a lie, so I lean back quick.
Or not, because that's personal, you know? And then your life just becomes an open door and everyone knows your business.
Girl, I know what it is, I ain't gon' fight for this shit. Ain't gon' put up with your fits. I'm done, I'm just calling it quits. My cousin been said you a trip, now suddenly you wanna switch. Swear I've been through it, I ain't gon' do it. I don't give an inch, and all of a sudden I find you in, I find you in, I find you in my life. You scheming up, I'm better off without you in my sight. Now the mess we drown in the past we gone, and this life so short and the cash be long. And I got no girl, but I had these sons, and I find you in my life. You say I'm a dog like you mean that shit. Tell your mama sorry, had to leave that shit. I'm just uninvolved with the drama. Tip you on, had me fighting with a lie, so I lean back quick.
You are now tuned into New Music Tuesdays here on Feel Good Sound.
Yes, that last one, Jallal, I'm a dog.
Man.
But are you though?
No, I'm not a dog.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not.
Right. Man, it's funny you were talking about the communication,
right,
and the trust in relationships. Where does this song come from for you?
It just comes from, when somebody goes into like that relationship, and I know like most people, they could really, really relate with this one, because it's like, and you're in that dark time where it's kind of like, man, like, when you're like super right, but you're not even being like stubborn about being right. Like you just feel like, yo, like I'm really valid and like logical from a man's standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Like from a dude, you're like, dude, I'm so right, and I can't even like get to this like fifth element. Like I can't talk to her. You know what I'm saying? Like where you're just like, I can't talk to her. That's where it comes from. Like that's where it stemmed in from. I'm like, yo, like let me just spit exactly how I feel. Like I'm really just gonna lay this on a record. And you know what I mean? And just see, you know what I'm saying? Like what's going to be like the reaction from it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
isn't that crazy? Like, I mean, really, men and women are so different when it comes to certain things.
Oh yeah.
And like
communication
obviously is one of those things,
right,
where like, I feel like most men are thinking somewhat logically, right, about how things work. But women don't really think that way necessarily. Like it almost, you need to translate it to be able to get through sometimes.
No, of course. I'm with you 100%, man.
Right.
I was raised with females, so I know exactly how that is.
Right, man.
Yeah.
You got this this project that's coming out soon here called Off the Radar.
Right.
Why the name Off the Radar?
Because I've been so off the radar. I've been so gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just found out about the record, which is like, come on, DJ. Come on, he's the man, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, and why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just the honest truth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knew I was swimming, you know what I'm saying, out there. And it's like, I'm swimming out, like, now in your airways. And it's like, you're going to be able to, like, hear, you know what I'm saying, like, what this kid got to say. You feel me?
Do you feel like there's a lot of people that there's a lot more artists that are sort of quote unquote off the record or off the radar rather?
I would say so, yeah. Especially for, I would say, underground artists, like, people actually coming out, like making real music, you know what I'm saying? Like genuine music. Like you do go off the radar, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, the truth is not really heard at times, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I would say so, yeah.
And talk to me a little bit about like the business of things and the music industry of sorts, where sometimes there is this radar that has been predetermined, right, and that like there is this tendency for people to only really sort of pay attention to what's going on in this space. So you, as an independent artist, for all of this time, have been making a lot of noise, but doing that, like you said, off the radar. At what point in time are you like, no, this is not enough for me now. I want a bigger platform. I want to share this with more people.
It's always been that, you know what I'm saying? It's always been my goal from like day one, like making music. I'm like, I gotta get, I gotta reach for the highest, you know what I'm saying? And having people like behind me. I mean, I remember when Loon, when he was, running around with like Diddy and doing those songs, and, he would take me in his car and he would tell me that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be the best you could be no matter what, you know what I'm saying? And it's like seeing that from people who've been, very successful in the materialistic aspect is dope, because it's like you get to see their definition of success, right? And then when I put my definition of success down, I was like, I gotta go for the highest no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Talk to me a little bit about the roller coaster, because you said, at that point, you connecting with Lupe for the second time now at the Dub Car Show.
Yeah.
And now being like, all right, I'm gonna stay in contact. What happened after that?
I started really just digging in and making music. You know what I mean? Like actually just letting my pen go. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that was my focus. You know what I'm saying? Like there was nothing gonna stop me. I was like, I got to make records, and the records are gonna be exactly how I feel at that exact time. And it was the easiest thing for me to do, because I'm like, yo, I'm feeling like this today. Today I feel really bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so my record comes out really dark. So my mom would be like calling me like, yo, your music always sounds sad. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm going through something, man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yo, I'm going through it, yo. Right. But yeah.
And have you written for other people?
No.
Do you feel like you would ever write for other people?
You know, I did write one thing. I mean, you know, this is not even counts, but I wrote the hook for BJ the Chicago Kid on my album.
Right.
And just because I had the concept and idea,
right.
you know what I'm saying? But he's a great artist. So
yes.
Yeah, he's my dude, bro. That dude, when I first put my single out, Over Now, like I got a call from him, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he was like, yo, what's up? This is BJ, man. Like, we got to do this. But yeah, for writing purposes, you know, I just once, but I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really open, you know? Like, if that's where it goes one day, like, and I want to do it, hey, man, who knows? I'm down.
And do you think you could ever have a writer? Because that obviously is two different sides of the, you know, you've got the performance side of it and then also, like, the actual pen.
Yeah,
do you feel like you could ever perform something that somebody else had penned?
You know, music has to come from yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's easier to like. It's easier to make music that you know you go and live through. Like I was saying before, so it's like if you have to create something organic, like you know from yourself. Like that's how you feel. Like it's hard for you to like. I can't tell DJ Hapa's story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like unless like I really know you, and you know what I'm saying. Like
but
we
even
really
still,
grew
it
up.
would be different through
your perspective.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
So I mean, it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like I've always sat down and you know, put the pen down and like, you know, make sure I mended my music and, you know, made it the way it had to be. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I make music
nice.
like, for myself.
And you're working with a pretty heavy hitter producer by the name of Chad Hugo.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So how did that all happen?
Man, it happened. It was the craziest thing. I have this amazing engineer by the name of Jan Fairchild. And he's done that album called The Ecstatic. By Mos Def, but he's done other crazy stuff. But I'm just saying on the hip hop side of everything. Right. But we were in the studio one day and Chad, you know, happened to be there, and we just connected like right off top. You know, we were just talking about that last night. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it happened off top, and it was just like we just like click. You know what I'm saying? When you meet somebody and it's just like you just rock with them, that synergy. It's like he's an amazing person. You know what I'm saying? A musical genius. You know what I'm saying? By far, and just a great human being. So shout out Chad, man. We just had his birthday party. It was super dope.
Dope, man. You've got a lot to look forward to here. Off the Radar is coming soon. Yep. You got the record with BJ the Chicago Kid on that album as well. Yeah,
we definitely gonna see. And like I said, we're still trying to, you know, picking.
We got some other ones. We got some other ones that are a little bit top secret. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So it's top secret at this time, but. Yeah, this I'm a Dog record, I mean, it's crazy to see how many people give me love. Like, shout out Hip Hop DX, Double XL, DJ Booth. Like, people just being behind it, like, from the jump. Like, you know, it's any kid's dream, you know what I'm saying? Like, who makes rap music. So, I appreciate that. I appreciate you especially, man. Like,
of course, love, man. Bro. Of course. And what does the rest of 2017 look like for you, man?
Oh, man, the jump, you know what I'm saying? The takeoff. You feel me? Like, this is everybody in this room, like, is witnessing, like, the takeoff. Like, it's about to be super real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be full of, like, the most ups, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be downs because that's life. Sure. But, you know, I'm just always shooting for the highest, you know what I'm saying? Shooting for the stars, God willing. So, you know, inshallah, it's going to be dope. You know what I mean? Nice,
man. Well, we look forward to watching you rise here, man. And it's our pleasure to have you on the show. I want to remind everybody that we've put together a page for you up on feelgoodsound.com. So people can go there, listen back to this interview, get a chance to keep updated with everything that you got going on. We've linked back to all your socials and whatnot. So make sure to go and check that out on feelgoodsound.com. We want to thank Jallal for being here. Let's give him a big round of applause.
I appreciate that, bro. Yes,
sir.
Thank you.
And man, we want to thank you for listening out there. So we got a little bit more music on the way. Don't go anywhere. My name is DJ Hapa. This is Feel Good Sound right here on Dash One.
You are now tuned into New Music Tuesdays here on Feel Good Sound.